All right, today we are diving head first, or maybe nose first, into one of Taiwan's most talked about street foods, stinky tofu. Yep, it's a snack that kind of challenges you before you even take a single bite. So what is the deal with this super pungent dish? Let's get into it.
So, let's just get this out of the way right up front. Stinky tofu has a bit of a reputation. Our research found it often lands at the top of the list for the least favorite snack among tourists. And that really raises the big question, right? How can a food be so off-putting to some people, but an absolute favorite for so many others?
So yeah, let's talk about that infamous reputation. If you have ever walked through a Taiwanese night market, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That smell. It is powerful, it's unique, and you can usually smell it long before you can even see the food stall.
At its heart, what we're talking about is pretty simple. Stinky tofu is just regular soybean tofu that has been fermented. And that fermentation process is what creates that very distinct aroma. But hey, let's remember fermentation is behind some of the most amazing flavors in the world. We're talking everything from funky French cheese to spicy Korean kimchi. It's all part of the same big, bold family of foods.
And that brings us to the most important part of this whole story. You really have to get past the smell to get what all the fuss is about. Because for millions of people, the taste is where the real magic is. So what are they experiencing that so many others are missing?
Well, here is a fascinating little twist. There's a common saying among stinky tofu lovers, the stronger the smell, the better it tastes, which is a complete 180 from what a first-timer might think. For the fans, that powerful smell isn't a red flag. It's actually a green light promising some seriously good flavor ahead.
But here's the secret, the thing that so many newcomers miss. You're almost never supposed to eat stinky tofu all by itself. The whole experience is about balance, and that balance comes from its absolutely essential partner in crime. And that partner is Taiwanese-style pickles. Now, these are not like the spicy, deeply fermented Korean kimchi you might be thinking of. Taiwanese pickles are made with a much shorter pickling time. That keeps them incredibly crisp and gives them this amazing sweetness that just cuts right through the strong, savory flavor of the tofu. It's this perfect contrast of texture and taste that makes it all work.
Okay, so now that you know the secret, how do you actually go about trying it? Well, guess what? You've got options. This isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of snack. There are a few different ways it's prepared, and each one gives you a totally different experience. It basically breaks down into three main styles: deep-fried, charcoal-grilled, and steamed. And as you can see, they vary a lot in their texture, their flavor, and maybe most importantly, their smell intensity.
Now, for anyone who's new to the game, pretty much everyone will tell you to start with the deep-fried version. Think of it as the entry-level stinky tofu. The frying gives it this great crispy shell with a softer inside, and it definitely has the mildest fermented flavor of the three.
If you're a fan of anything barbecue, then the charcoal-grilled version might be the one for you. It gets basted in sauce, it's got that nice little char on the outside, and that smoky smell mixes with the fermented aroma for a really complex, savory flavor.
And finally, there's the steamed version. This preparation keeps the tofu super soft and tender, so you really get to appreciate its natural texture. But there's a catch, and, it's a pretty big one.
That's right, the steamed version is widely considered to be the most potent, the most pungent, the most unapologetically stinky of them all. This is expert level. This is the final boss of stinky tofu. So where on earth did this wild culinary creation even come from? Well, like a lot of the world's most interesting foods, its origin is just a fantastic story of a complete and total accident. Our story begins way, way back in China's Qing dynasty with a man by the name of Wang Zihei. And from his little mistake, this dish would eventually get a royal seal of approval and make its way to becoming the Taiwanese icon that it is today.
You have to love this story. So Wang Zihei was a scholar, and he failed the big imperial exam. To make ends meet, he started selling tofu. One day, he had all this unsold tofu and didn't know what to do with it, so he just cubed it up, put it in a jar with some salt, and kind of forgot about it. Months later, he opened it up and was hit with that now famous smell. But instead of tossing it, he actually tasted it, and he loved it. His accidental invention turned into a massive local hit.
And when I say popular, I mean it. It got so famous that it even made its way to the imperial court. The Empress Dowager Cixi herself was reportedly a fan. Not too shabby for a dish that started out as a failed scholar's leftovers. So, after all this, why should we care so much about a smelly piece of tofu? Well, because it's so much more than just a snack. It's really a story about culture, about history, and about the very nature of taste itself.
When you break it down, the story of Stinky Tofu shows how something that seems like a failure can become a classic. It's a masterclass in flavor, teaching us about that delicate balance between pungent and sweet. It's a dish that dares you to try it, and it really rewards you if you do. It's a true icon of Taiwanese culture.
And all of this really just leaves us with one final thought. Stinky Tofu is a great reminder that there are all these amazing flavors and stories just waiting for us right outside our comfort zones. So the real question is, what culinary challenge are you going to take on next?